Good day to you all for episode 3 of So You Want to Be a Star in the Music Business. Hope this series is somewhat helpful. I know we're a little serious sometimes, but we take the fact that there's so much talent out there very seriously, and we want to give you every chance you can because the more talent we see, the happier we get. Which brings us to we're trying to offer you ideas about what you can actually do at home by yourself, in your mind, on a piece of paper or an iPad, and come up with a plan of action. You cannot take yourself from point A all the way to stardom overnight. But you can make sure that every day you spend an hour or two developing certain parts of your career. I'm going to let Kevin take over at this point and go through a short list.
Today's topic is something that's near and dear to my heart and something I spend a lot of time doing on a daily basis, and that being social media. So coming off of Global Social Media Week from last week, I felt like this was a topic we need to introduce early, and something that is very heavy. So, and when we say social media, we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about Tumblr, we're talking about LinkedIn, YouTube, Vivo. I mean, you name all of them. Google Plus. So these are the things that are allowing people to be globally relevant, almost instant. When before, and I'm just thinking back, I'll give my age away a little bit now. Just going back to college, when we had to advertise an event or a party, we got chalk and hit the sidewalk, or we actually physically printed out flyers, like a guy on the New York City sidewalk, and handed out flyers to people one by one. But despite the flyers, besides the chalking, one thing that has always been powerful and still is a word of mouth factor. So word of mouth has been around forever. You say one thing, and assuming it's something relevant, something that people care about, and you notice it just spreads like wildfire. So there have been some events that you can just publicize and put up flyers, put up posters, put up chalk, or whatever you had to do back in the day. Still wouldn't have a lot of people, but for certain events on campus, we all know certain Greek events or a certain party, all it took was somebody to just speak it to somebody else who told somebody else who told somebody else.
And speaking about age, without giving away my age, I'm from the pre-internet era. So all of these social media companies and methods scare the hell out of me. Yet, being a manager in the industry, it is essential. It's like telling somebody that all of a sudden we are no longer making cassette tapes, we are now putting everything on CDs. You can't ignore it. It is that just intrinsic to the industry. It is intrinsic almost to every industry. But how do you quantify it? How do you turn social networking into something that helps your career?
And that's a good question. Before I even answer that, I'm just sitting here thinking, I just mentioned something called Social Media Week. When has there ever been a Social Media Week? I mean, we talk about Fashion Week all the time, and being in New York, you have Fashion Week in New York, Fashion Week in Paris, and these are things that are normal. But now it's to the point where we have Social Media Week, and this is so powerful. Just for example, for Fashion Week, you have Fashion Week in New York for 1 week, and then you go to Paris and you have Fashion Week in Paris. Where Social Media Week is going on simultaneously in all these areas, all these cities at the same exact time. So that's the power of the internet and just how far we've come in, I want to say about the past 8 years. So social media is so relevant at this point where you have shows like, just for example, Dancing with the Stars or any show that requires people to vote. You'll find out that some of these contestants are pretty much based on popularity, not only just their overall popularity, but how many followers that this person has on Twitter, or how many likes they have on their Facebook.
And the type of followers. It is down to that right now, that these television shows only want the kind of followers who like to spend money voting. It's a very important thing for them. So you can be popular. There are many popular people out there. But if you've got the wrong kind of followers, you're not desired. Anyway,
That's a good point.
Sorry to push us off to the side.
So where we are, social media, I mean, you just realize for a person who wants to be a star, someone who, we're not just talking about the regular person or somebody keeping up with their friends. Social media is a very powerful tool that needs to be used, number one, and needs to be effective. I knew how serious it was when CNN got their own Twitter page. So that's when I knew that social media was changing, when you notice that every company started to say, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and you start to see that the world has adapted to this shift. And the people who don't, you just get left behind. And it's all about how relevant you are and just basically how many people are paying attention to you. So I think there's a few key points, because it's not just about setting up Twitter. It's like, what do you do from there? So for somebody who wants to be an artist and wants to be known, there's some key points that you need to know to build your followership and make sure that you continue to stay relevant. It's all about relevance. If you rank your top 10 artists, MCs, R&B singers, or whomever, there may be people that are more talented, but the people who are being talked about, for example, Nicki Minaj from the Grammys, it's what makes you, what about you is interesting? What is going to make people talk? So the more eyes that are following you, the more money you begin to draw yourself in terms of sponsorships, in terms of just more money seems to come to you. You just have to pretty much light yourself on fire, and then everybody will come around to watch.
Which is not an easy point, by the way. Please, again, the Nicki Minaj situation, ideal, and of course we can't always have it, is you have the most phenomenal music in the world, and you are an expert at marketing, social marketing. The combination is what creates Madonna. That's what this is all about. And I'm not saying her music's the best in the world, and I'm not saying she's the best self-marketer in the world, but she's pretty amazing. And she has had a career making so much money for so long. Now we're in a new era. Now it's about the internet. It's about all these different ways to communicate with people. Instead of having a dance at your college and having 100 people show up, you actually, it's possible for you to reach millions. You just have to have a reason to reach them. You can't just talk to them about, gee, we're going to have a dance, and convince them to show up. So,
and just to piggyback on that point, it just makes me really think about Twitter, which seems to be, I guess, king of social media next to Facebook. They kind of go hand in hand. But the goal is to get other people to spread the word for you. So you have to always have something interesting that makes somebody else share what you just shared. So for Twitter, the more retweets you have, for Facebook, the more shares, the more likes, the more you have people talking about something you did or posted or something that's going on. And again, we go back to relevance. It's what's causing people to focus on you, and what about you is interesting.
Please share these videos that we're making. Thank you.
No, share this. Share, hit like,
right
subscribe.
Right now.
So I read a nice little article. I may have to give these people a shout out later. Kind of our little viral marketing cheat sheet with a few steps. Step number 1 and this will probably be more focused on Twitter, stop being neutral. So that's one thing I made the mistake of when I set up my Twitter. And I like to feel kind of cool that I set up Twitter before it really got to CNN. That's how you know you lost it. The first step is stop being neutral. In a sense, stop trying to please everybody. So whatever your personality is, and I'll read this because I just think this is a very good paragraph. Forget trying to please everyone. Develop an opinion and inspire strong emotions. You want people to either love or hate you. Be happy with you, be angry with you, laugh or cry. So stop being neutral, be committed, take a stand, and get people excited. So, I mean, all that's saying is just whoever you are, if you want to piss people off and that's your thing, just piss people off. But you know the people that are following you for that reason. If you're a comedian, you make people laugh. You want to be raunchy, you want to be clean, you want to be religious, whatever your thing is, be that. And stop trying to capture an entire audience, and at least know the people that are following you for the reasons specific to who you are and what you're about.
Number 2,
is do something unexpected. And just to read something from this, the question is, you want people to notice you? Do something completely unexpected and don't try to promote your product, or your CD, your album release, whatever it is, and make it look cool. So it gave an example of one company that put an iPhone in a blender, and that's pretty much what made them stand out. It's just basically just do something. Just do something unexpected. Just without trying to really sell people initially. So you just want to be interesting. Just do something fun. Do something crazy. Something a little bit different, and it's going to draw attention on its own. And then you can subtly sell people your stuff. So you can have a video and subtly place your information at the bottom without pushing it in their face and buy my mixtape.
You're the viewers. Imagine how you would respond. If you're going to shove a product, a Coca-Cola bottle in people's face, that's one thing. It's another thing if you just happen to see the Coca-Cola bottle or the logo down in the corner, but you're being entertained by someone. In the meantime, you might not leave the room to go to the bathroom. That's what you're trying to do, trying to keep people entertained. Number three, don't make advertisements. So this is basically riding off the last thing we just said. It says viral marketing isn't just advertisements that people share. Forget about you, forget about your product and your company. Focus on creating a good and interesting story. So again, this goes on, just be who you are. Just be interesting, hopefully. If you're an entertainer, you are interesting, or you should be interesting. Otherwise, you might be in the wrong business and might need to be doing some code behind the desk. But we're assuming you're interesting because you want to be in entertainment. So it just says your business promotion should always be subtle, never the focal point. So wear a T-shirt. Makes it real easy. Wear a T-shirt with the logo on it. So if we're posting a video, just make sure your information is at the bottom or it's in the description. So just don't put it out there and hold the mixtape in their face. Reminding you that this is MWEntGroup.
Subtle advertising.
Subtle, very subtle. We're going to continue. We have points 4, 5, 6, and 7, which will be in episode 4, which will be out tomorrow. We thank you for watching. We do have a shout out because we are reading from.
Yeah, no, who
are these people that we love it? It's a wonderful thing they put together.
Viral marketing cheat sheet. Excuse my lighting. And
it's backwards. We know it's backwards.
And then we have all I see on here is Kiss Metrics.
They can't see it's backwards.
Yeah, well, they'll hold the video up to a mirror maybe.
Kiss Metrics, we thank you. We thought you put out some very valid information, and we're going to expound upon more of it tomorrow. All right, so shout out to Kiss Metrics, shout out to Viral Marketing. Any other shout out?
Just a few. A good friend of mine from college, Damien, also known as LCD or Mr. About That Money, is the reason I got on Twitter in the first place. So good shout out to him. But question again, who are these guys? Who are these two guys talking? I'm Kevin Curtin.
I'm Mitch Weiss.
And you can find out more information on our website at www.MWEntGroup.com, or you can follow us.
Facebook, the same MWEnt Group. Twitter is _MWEG.
And until next time, stay tuned for episode 4, and we will finish the rest of our social media viral marketing cheat sheet.
And since we're not trying to sell you anything, please share this with your friends. We truly want you to make you think. Subscribe. Thanks. Take care.